Emotional purging, physical signs of emotional detox. Catharsis, or emotional purging, is the process of eliminating emotions that don't serve you, and for the purpose of this post, specifically pain, fear, pity, anger, and shame. The point of emotional purging isn't to end the pain, it's to find out what you're feeling and get your emotions in check so you can move forward. When we do this, we eventually release the pent-up energy we have been burying inside, but instant gratification and pain-free it is not. To the latter point, emotional purging is not an instant fix. In the West, we expect instant healing, and we believe that the only way to measure if something works is to see an immediate absence of discomfort. It took me a month to prepare for this speech. I wrote it, went through my subconscious, and dug up some good memories. Much of the process felt good as I ripped up old roots and began to prepare the dirt for the next stage. The soil felt primed and ready for new crops to grow. It was cathartic, which makes sense, as it was emotional purging, even if I didn't sign up for such a process. But after the applause was over, I returned to just me and my open wounds. This time, I would not reach for a band-aid to put over them. With them exposed to the world, I would wait for them to heal slowly, day by day. I was expecting a certain type of transformation, after all my experience was so profound. Instead, life got ugly. I started to feel like crap, muscle pain, eyelid twitching, 3 weeks without a break, flu-like symptoms, etc. My mind was foggy, and my dreams were vivid, yet my sleep quality was poor. I felt constant fatigue, bad headaches, and built-up tension in my neck in the form of neck and back. I resolved to address my physical ailments with better food choices like cutting back on caffeine, eating more unprocessed food, and avoiding alcohol. It took me weeks to realize that this episode was the result of this emotional detox, not something a Western doctor would diagnose. I finally feel like I have taken a few steps into the clear, and with that, I can shed some insights into emotional purging. So why is emotional purging so important if it is so painful? When people run from their truths, they spend their lives in the dark, avoiding those truths and experiencing a different level of suffering. We unknowingly project our issues onto others, sometimes even repeating the trauma we went through onto someone else. If we don't deal with our emotions and problems, they will just build up and eventually will have a toxic effect on ourselves and the people around us. Many of you have experienced trauma that is deeper than mine. I am only experiencing emotional trauma, but many of you have experienced physical and emotional trauma. I don't know what it's like to have trauma to your temple. It frightens me too much to imagine. That said, no matter what type of trauma you have endured, we have to face the realities of our lives. We have to plow through and confront them, live with them, and accept that they are a part of our story. There are 3 things to keep in mind when emotional purging, intentional or not. You are not your perceived negative experiences. Your experiences are just that, experiences. They are a part of your story, they are not your entire story. You are not defined by your experiences. You have the freedom to take them or leave them. Don't avoid emotional purging because it makes you feel like a victim. Hear me loud and clear, IT does not make you weak to deal with your emotions and acknowledge past traumas. These events and experiences cannot be brushed off. They need time to heal, and if you begin to feel like a victim, I see a great opportunity for you to practice self-compassion here. There's a difference between complaining about the little things in life and taking time to indulge your emotions. Don't get stuck. When we think about these experiences, we bring back to anger, embarrassment, shame, sadness, and fear. It's important to feel, but it's important to recognize these emotions are surfacing to help you heal, and we must keep moving forward. Why is it so important to emotionally purge? Trauma makes us feel alone, like we have no one to talk to because no one understands what we have been through. But it's not true. In a world of social media, it's easy to be connected to strangers all over the world. You'll find that there are plenty more people who have been through the same thing as you and may even find someone who understands you. The community of people who have endured what you have makes the suffering far more bearable. Find your tribe. You begin to change your behavior. You are no longer on autopilot with how you treat yourself and others. You recognize you can control your outcomes in relationships. You can begin to play a bigger role in creating your future. Gut health. Emotions can trigger symptoms of your gut. Greater human connection. What I learned. It's always hard to move past suffering, but you have to keep pushing through it. Listening to your body's signs of wanting a break from work is very important. When it screams for some TLC, no caffeine, alcohol, etc., listen. It's easier than you'd think. Body wisdom is a thing. Physical pain happens a lot when we try to repress our emotions for too long. Has anyone else experienced emotional purging, intentional or not? I know that it's hard, but I'm here for you. Here you will find general health and wellness information. This content is for education purposes only, and we do not recommend self-diagnosis or treatment through this video. Source: thewellnecessities.com